Hi, this is Alcan. Welcome back to my channel. We got some interesting news from Florida involving Judge Cannon. No, they're not trying to get rid of her again. Sorry. It's from Newsweek. Judge Cannon just made absolute stunning move, legal analyst. This was Natalie Vegas. Whatever. I can't pronounce his name. Anyway, this is what she said. U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon just made an absolute stunning move in the former President Donald Trump's classified document case, according to legal analyst Joyce Vance on Saturday. Trump, the presumptuous 2024 Republican presidential nominee, had pleaded not guilty to the Department of Justice Special Counsel Jack Smith's 40 charges when it was alleged that he retained classified materials at the elected White House in January 2021 and then obstructed the federal attempt, to retrieve them from his Mar-a-Lago resort resident in Palm Beach, Florida. Trump has maintained his innocence in this case. Well, you sent the papers to him in the first place. That's your fault. On Tuesday, Cannon, who is presiding over the case, and it was appointed on the bench by Trump in 2020, issued a paperless order allowing lawyers like Josh Blackman, Gene Sharrow, and Matthew Slingman to make oral arguments in a June 21st hearing to consider a motion to dismiss Trump's 40 federal felony charges, which claim that Smith was appointed illegally. The thing is, they having an issue where Jack Smith, the special counsel, was appointed legally, because Merrick Garland just put him in there without a confirmation from the Senate. We don't know why, because the Democrats were in control. They could get him permission or whatever status to do this. Sorry, I had something in my mouth. All three lawyers are expert in constitutional law, which filed some kind of brief called the Friend of the Court regarding the motion of dismissal. Schroeder and Blackman are representing groups that want the case against the former president be dismissed, while Singerman is representing groups that said the case should continue. Oh, it's 2 against 1. Odds in Trump's favor. No, I'm just kidding. Doesn't mean anything. On Saturday interview with MSNBC, the Katie Pang show, Vance, a former U.S. attorney for the Northern District of Alabama during the Obama administration, discussed the recent paperless order, as she called the move absolutely stunning, as a non-grid brief, which are usually not seen in district courts or in cases such as this. It's actually stunning. We see this brief used pretty heavily in front of the U.S. Supreme Court, even some of the courts of appeal, very rarely in district courts. I think it's essential, unprecedented, to give them time to argue in the district court, even in the Supreme Court, that usually involve the government coming in a case between private parties where they have a stake, she said. Vance added, this is a sort of like Canada judge in the case going out on the street and saying just to random people in the public, hey, come in and tell me what you think about this issue. These are non-parties. They do not have a stake in the outcome in the case. It's very unusual. I guess she's trying to, fill in all the boxes, cross the T's, dot the I's, and try to do everything right so, she don't get overturned. Newsweek had reached out to the Southern District of Florida via email for comment. I'm sure they didn't answer back. She wondered why. This comment, as Cannon was facing criticism, largely along partisan lines, with delaying the trial and not setting a date. She's not the only one with a case being delayed. you got the DJ case being delayed, and you got Fulton County case being delayed. Is Judge Cannon in those cases? Nope. And the Democrats. So Palm Beach County State Attorney Dave Ehrenberg previously told Newsweek via social media direct message that Cannon's decision was highly unusual, while adding that most judges would have already rejected the dismissal motion, claiming that the appointment of Smith was illegal. Yeah, if the special prosecutor was appointed by or approved by the Senate, yes. But he's now approved by the Senate. We were shocked that they didn't do that. So his argument doesn't hold water. Unless it's outside Florida. Sorry. She allowed non-parties to participate in oral arguments, which is usually unusual, he said. They're usually just allowed to submit briefs in that brief. Very unusual, especially for the claim that the special counsel is unconstitutional. Most other judges had already dismissed these claims. Again, Newsweek has also reached out to Ehrenberg via email for comment. He probably didn't answer them back either. Meanwhile, on Thursday, two private citizens, Jesse Nair Burke and Heidi Tobis Kennedy of Atlantic City, New Jersey, filed also a brief in support of Trump's motion to dismiss his indictment in a classification document case, claiming its misuse of government funds that does not support the people's interest of justice. The two wrote to Cannon to appear as advocate for the former president, meaning they are not a party to the case but believe they have related information. Burke and Kennedy self-identify as disabled pro se indigent private citizen, elderly who had knowledge and had experience the court may have find useful. The Kingan motion was mainly focused on the allocation of public funds rather than the political backing of Trump. Burke and Kennedy urged Congress to make some common sense legislation to stop continuing violation of removal sensitive documents. They wrote, funding is greatly needed for crimes against seniors and disabled, veterans, elderly, abused children, adults, etc. And the Department of Justice is grossly failing to use the people's money where it is mattered and should not be condoned for pursuing such costly and dragging out litigation that could be quickly resolved cheaply. Oh my gosh. We would also like to urge Congress to make some common sense legislation to stop this continued violation of removing sensitive documents without the risk of order putting us all at risk. And that's it. But the fact is, you have outside parties trying to explain that that the special counsel was not approved by the Senate. Usually they are, but for some reason Jack Smith was never approved. Not appointed by the president, Biden, and people saying, this is a waste of time having this ridiculous case, and the money could have been used for something else, and it's being wasted unnecessary, because if they find that Trump not did anything wrong, somebody's got to recuperate these financial losses, and it's not going to be Trump. And also, it puts Smith in a bad position, because if he loses this case, they could get rid of him in D.C. too. Isn't that lovely? Yes, Jack Smenzi, and then you could take that $5 footlong Subway and stick it where the sun don't shine, because the sandwich doesn't exist at that price anymore. CNN, go fact check yourself. So this is Alken saying so long for now, and don't forget to stop.